This is the African News Update on Top Accolade News. The headlines: Cameroon's electoral body rejects Kamto's candidacy. Mali's former Prime Minister Choguel Maïga faces corruption probe over public fund. Central African Republic President seeks extended rule. Dangote hails Tinubu's economic reforms. We start today with a focus in politics. Cameroon's electoral body rejects Kamto's candidacy. In Cameroon, opposition leader Maurice Kamto has been barred from running in the October 12 presidential election after the Electoral Commission approved only 13 of 83 candidate applications. Kamto's exclusion stems from a dispute within the Manidem party, which had endorsed him. Another faction of the same party submitted a different nominee, leading to confusion that saw Kamto disqualified. Manidem's president has condemned the decision and vowed to appeal to the Constitutional Council. Meanwhile, 92-year-old President Paul Biya, the world's oldest sitting head of state, has been cleared to run for an 8th term despite growing opposition. He will face a slate of challenges, including former ministers, seasoned lawmakers, and one female candidate. The disqualification of prominent figures like Kamto raises fresh questions about the fairness of the electoral process in the long-standing Central African regime. Still in politics, Mali's former Prime Minister Choguel Maïga faces corruption probe over public funds. In Mali, former Prime Minister Choguel Maïga is facing serious corruption allegations as the Office of the Auditor General submits evidence to the judiciary pointing to the misuse of nearly 2 billion CFA francs during his tenure. The investigation focuses on questionable expenses tied to a public project and unaccounted mission-related payments. The Attorney General of the Supreme Court has reportedly begun reviewing the case, now known as the Choguel Maïga files. Supporters of Maïga claim the probe is politically driven, citing his outspoken criticism of Mali's military-led government. A close associate said Maïga is prepared to cooperate, but hinted that the former Prime Minister may reveal counter-evidence if pushed. As judicial scrutiny intensifies, the case highlights a growing crackdown on former leaders in the country's volatile political climate. Moving on in politics, Central African Republic President seeks extended rule. President Faustin Archange Touadéra of the Central African Republic has declared his intention to seek a 3rd term in office after being nominated by his United Hearts Movement party. The announcement follows a 2023 constitutional referendum that removed term limits and extended the presidential term from 5 to 7 years. He has been in power since 2016. Previously, he won a 2nd term in 2020 amid pushback from rebel groups seeking to nullify the election result. His leadership has been defined by political unrest and his strategic alliance with foreign forces, notably the Russian Wagner Group, to maintain stability. As the country prepares for elections expected in December, no official date has been set, raising concerns in a country that has experienced decades of coup and internal conflict since gaining independence from France. Turning to economy, Dangote hails Tinubu's economic reforms. Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, has praised Nigerian President Bola Tinubu's economic policies, calling him a listening leader whose reforms, including the Naira for Crude initiative and Nigeria First policy, are restoring investor confidence and market stability, according to him. Speaking during a visit by Industry Minister Jumoke Oduwole to the $20 billion Dangote refinery in Lagos, Dangote highlighted improved crude supply, exchange rate predictability, and operational efficiency via a one-stop-shop regulatory system. The refinery also plans to deploy 4,000 CNG tankers to boost local fuel distribution. Minister Oduwole reaffirmed the government's commitment to supporting domestic investors and driving industrial growth. You're watching the African News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. staying with us. In international relations, U.S. halts visa services in Niger. The United States has suspended all routine visa services at its embassy in Niamey, Niger, amid growing diplomatic tension with the West African country. Citing concerns with the government of Niger, the U.S. State Department confirmed that both immigrant and non-immigrant visa applications are on hold. An internal cable also directed consular offices worldwide to apply tougher scrutiny to applicants from Niger due to high visa overstay rates. This move follows last year's withdrawal of U.S. troops from Niger after the country's military junta expelled nearly 1,000 American personnel. Once seen as a strategic counter-terrorism ally, Niger's coup has strained relations with Washington. Meanwhile, U.S. immigration policy continues to tighten, with Trump-era figures like Senator Marco Rubio leading a crackdown that includes visa revocations and increased vetting based on national security concerns. Moving to conflicts, Sudan's RSF forms parallel government. In Sudan, the Rapid Support Forces have declared a parallel government, intensifying a conflict that has already lasted more than 2 years. RSF leader General Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo will head a newly formed 15-member council with key rebel and civilian figures filling top posts. The military-led government has denounced the move, calling it illegitimate and vowed to keep fighting until it regains full control of the country. The RSF controls western and part of south-central Sudan, while the military holds key regions in the north, east, and recently reclaimed capital, Khartoum. The United Nations warns of worsening famine and a humanitarian emergency, with nearly 13 million people displaced and tens of thousands killed. As both factions fight for dominance, the crisis continues to devastate Sudan's population. Moving to entertainment, Ghana mourns high-life legend Daddy Lumba at 60. Ghanaians are mourning legendary high-life musician Daddy Lumba, who has died at the age of 60 following a short illness. Celebrated for his unmatched musical legacy spanning nearly 40 years, Lumba inspired generations with over 200 songs and 33 albums. Tributes are pouring in from leaders, fellow artists, and fans as the nation reflects on the profound cultural impact of one of its greatest music icons. Now in sports, South Africa gears up for CHAN 2025. Preparations are in full swing as South Africa's head coach Molefi Nseki gears up for next month's African Nations Championship, taking place across Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda from August 2nd to 30th. Nseki, confirmed by SAFA to lead the squad, unveiled the team that will represent the nation in Group C, expressing gratitude to the technical committee, clubs, and coaches for their support. The squad, largely made up of players who began the CHAN qualification journey with Nseki, is now focused on delivering a strong performance on the continental stage. That concludes our African news updates for today. Stay tuned for more African news and developments. Thanks for joining us. I am Ojoromi Okocha. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day.